Can we be honest about self-improvement and optimization here? I just want to start off by saying that I definitely believe these are things we should continue to focus on. But for many people, you get to a place where you grow exponentially and you continue to optimize because of the good feeling that comes with growth, and then at some point you forget to actually live your life. You become your own warden, your own tyrant, your own overbearing manager. Sometimes growth and optimization can turn into overmanaging our habits, overmanaging our image, overmanaging our productivity, our fitness, and our personalities. This is where too much of a good thing becomes a bad thing, because past a certain threshold, optimization can't be called growth anymore. It can't be called discipline or self-improvement either. The subconscious feeling and thought behind this behavior, when self-growth becomes an extreme, is this desire to be unjudgeable, to be perfect in a way. But perfection isn't a better outcome because it's actually just unattainable. No one is so optimized, so polished, and so on point that no one can question them. The reason why we shouldn't chase perfection is because the pursuit of perfection without an ability to ground oneself in reality leads to the destruction of joy. And why do we even optimize in the first place? For most of us, it's to have and enjoy a better life with more joy in it. We can't let our optimization bring down other aspects of our being at the same time, because if we do, then we're still technically in the same spot we were before. Searching for answers. Perfection can kill presence, prevent spontaneity, and quietly turn your life into a constant performance review. I mean, seriously, imagine if you had a performance review every day of your life. How anxiety-inducing would that be? And we like to mention what's happening in the body because oftentimes we logic away what we feel and actually think underneath the stories we tell ourselves. But the body always tells the truth. Perfection can make you develop this low-grade tightness or just that sense of never being done. And social media can make this 10 times worse. All social media really does is pour gasoline on whatever is happening internally and externally. The algorithm doesn't reward real life. It rewards the edited version of reality, the version where you're always locked in, always glowing, always progressing, always in control. But life isn't about control. Control is a human construct and need. Life is about seasons. Sometimes we are sharp, sometimes we are rebuilding, sometimes we are tired or excited for absolutely no reason. Sometimes you feel a huge surge of energy and insight. Sometimes you have no ideas flowing. That's the complexity of life. That's normal. What's not normal is seeing 1,000 highlight reels a day and thinking we're supposed to be on point or matching that image all the time. That's how we become permanently dissatisfied. It doesn't even have to be about life being less than. It's just that our standards of life get trained by what we consume. If our feed is full of flashy cars and significant others being taken on extravagant dates, our mind is going to flip out and think this is normal and that we should have it too, but that's not reality. It could be, but there's always something better out there. And the algorithm is a brutal teacher. It doesn't teach us the truth, it teaches us what performs well. The key word here is perform. It teaches us what gets attention, what gets applause, and what gets approved. So without realizing it, we start to live for the approval of others. In this state, the nervous system will constantly sway back and forth. So let's get a few things straight. Optimization is external and regulation is internal. Over-optimization is trying to fix yourself until you're worthy. Regulation is telling yourself that you're allowed to be imperfectly human and still trying to better oneself, but okay despite the outcomes. I can't say we have enough images of the latter. We don't have enough images of the messy middle, the awkward phases of life, the early reps that go unnoticed, the imperfect projects, the days where you're not at your best but you're still here. Instead, we have a culture that posts the finished product and hides the process. I mean, how many videos will you see on YouTube that say, I made $10,000 doing this and this using these steps? The thing is, you are getting steps 1, 10, 35, 45, and 55, but they are leaving out the steps in between. Most of the experiences of growth that are unsexy and maybe a bit unnoteworthy get lost in translation, but that's often the majority of the work. And of course, with this false sense of how we should be progressing, we think that if we're not polished perfectly or moving as fast as the other, we are behind. And that belief creates a life where we're always chasing something and not enjoying the ground under our feet. Always upgrading, always adjusting, always correcting ourselves. This can be good up to a certain threshold. And what's paradoxical is that it can look like progress, but in the process of optimization, you can sometimes grow further away from your own values. So it's important to ask yourself about your own motivations. I mean, why are you doing what you do, really? Because you may not be building your life around what matters to you. You may be building it around what gets rewarded. And the algorithm will never reward our peace. It rewards our performance. So yes, discipline is important, but it may not be most helpful to ask ourselves if we need to be more disciplined. It might be better to ask what we actually care about. What do you want your life to feel like, not look like? Do you want calm, freedom, deeper connections with more depth, heightened creativity, a sense of adventure maybe? If we don't choose our values in life, the internet will choose them for us. And then one day we'll look up and realize we have a life that looks good, but doesn't actually feel good. That's the trade-off. Perfectionism turns life into a never-ending audition. Perfectionism is very sneaky. It can be called one's own standards in life. It can be called one's extraordinary work ethic. It can be called having a seriousness and care about life. But a lot of the time, it's just a fear of being seen mid-process, a fear of being seen as normal. But what is normal and what is not? Only you can truly define that. You, not others. You can't build a free life based on the expectations of others, remember that. So, what do we do? There are a few things to try, but I recommend some experimentation with yourself. It's good for one to know oneself more as life progresses, and we can do that through play and exploration. Maybe you can create something with no audience, no posting, no proof, and no performance in the process. Just you doing something because it makes you feel alive. It can be anything. Like maybe you can practice trading perfection for honesty. In all endeavors, what's the honest next step you can make? Not the most impressive one and not the most optimized one, but the honest step that is most true to you. This is true self-belief and self-trust. Maybe you can begin to notice and watch what's training you. If certain content makes you feel behind, makes you feel tight, or makes you start performing for others, then maybe that couldn't be the inspiration and intake you need at the moment. Think about the ways you are being conditioned. I don't think many of us need more conditioning. We need more permission to be just human. But what is being human? Once again, you decide that for yourself. I'll say that being human means you have permission from yourself to be real, permission to be imperfect, and in the process of life without panicking. Because life is meant to be experienced, enjoyed, and remembered. So don't let the algorithm or other people, including myself, train you. Don't let it define what's valuable to you. Don't let it define what's good or bad. Don't let it define what's worthy and unworthy. Let your life feel like it's yours to own. This is Mind Odyssey. Thanks for listening. If this was helpful to you, please feel free to share with a friend or family member who could benefit from the words herein. Mind Odyssey will continue to bring transformational content to you, and just remember, you already have the right tools to succeed. Be yourself, grow in your own way, and you'll find success tailored to who you are. Until next time, mull this one over.